Good morning, Assalamualaikum and Salam Sejahtera. Welcome to NST Insight, a regular forum by the New Straits Times where we discuss, analyze and gain insightful information on events, issues and topics that matter. I am your host, Faridul Anwar bin Farid Nordin, and our topic today involves 3.7 million population of Malaysia. The topic, My Census 2020, e-Census or face-to-face. This is now part of the national census. This is part of the national census, which began last year, July last year. My Census 2020 or Banci Malaysia takes place every 10 years. This time, however, the government initiative that began in July has been hindered by COVID-19. The tabulation process is still ongoing this year, with the Department of Statistics of Malaysia is set to roll out phase 2 of the My Census 2020 through face-to-face interviews really soon. To talk more about My Census 2020, we have in the studio with us Yang Berbahagia Datuk Sri Dr. Muhammad Uzair Mahidin, Chief Statistician Malaysia. Welcome to the studio, Datuk.
Terima kasih. Thank you.
Without further ado, let's begin with the first question. Datuk, we can see the national census this year, which began last year, that has been already being participated by a number of Malaysians. So can you please tell us the importance of the national census?
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and very good morning. So first of all, I'd like to thank Mr. Faridul and also NST for having me in this program. On the issue, on the question on the how the census is very important for all of us, I would like to give some perspective in terms of the history of the census, how frequent the census being conducted. 2020 census is the sixth census for the country after independence. Mm-hmm. So the first census was conducted in 1970. Mm-hmm. So the second one in 1980, and it's continue every 10 years. So now we are in the sixth census. The last census is on during the year of 2010. Mm-hmm. And in terms of the how important of this national census to provide us with a very accurate picture on the profile of people. Mm. When we say about people, we must look at their demography, yes. Their age, their house condition, the living quarters, the surrounding, and also including in terms of the profile of the people, in terms of education, in terms of the employment. Of course, we want to know also about the facility around their living quarters, and also how actually during this time we also look at beyond that, we look at the well-being of the people. So during this census, we also look at the need of the older generation, special disabled people, and so forth. Of course, this time also we also including the how people using the time. For example, we also put in this census the question on how long the time they take to commute from their home to their office to the workplace. Mm-hmm. So I mean, when we look at the overall the question we put in this census, we can see that the census is very important. Mm-hmm. So that we provide the comprehensive profile of the people, and this information will provide very valuable information for the of course is for the government. Mm-hmm. And on top of the government, also for the other stakeholders, for the business and so forth. So the government can provide good planning So for the current generation and also for the future generation. So the data that collected this year is not going to use only one time, but will continuously be used for the next 10 years.
Right.
And the data being collected during the census year can be seen at the baseline information, and the subsequent year we have a lot of data collection exercise in the form of survey. Like we want to know how the unemployment looks like. So when we talk about employment, must based on the population.
Correct.
We look at how about the income distribution. How many people still in the poor condition? How many in the middle, below, or top of the ranking of the income? It's also the baseline is the people.
Right.
So a lot of the thing that we collected subsequently to give the direction, the condition or the social demography of the people is based on the population census. And other thing, we also remember that in this country we embrace the democracy, democracy where we have the representative to determine the representative of the certain district, state. We need to know how much the population. Of course, at the moment we don't have the political representative based on the population ratio, but there are some guideline when the certain area is very high density. So maybe they may require more than one member of parliament, more than one members of the state.
Seats are allocated.
Yes, seats allocated. And of course, for the political, who interested in the join the political arena, they also want to know who they are representing.
Correct.
So what the profile of the people is already important.
Yes.
And also for the private sector, you want to do the business, you want to open the clinic, you have to know how many population reside in the locality, in the area you want to carry your business, you want to conduct business. For the contractor, construction company, you want to buy to build the house, you have to know the demand, the profile of the people. If the business want to provide the facility for the older generation, so they can zoom which state, which district that have the high number of the older generation that require service for the older generation, you know.
For
so
the target customer.
Yeah, the target customer, and they don't, this current environment, no such thing try and error. We need to make a decision based on the fact and numbers.
Correct.
So the census provide very important statistic for the everyone, not only for the government, but for the people at large. So in the nutshell, I can say census is everything. So
there are two phases of census.
Yeah, for this time around, you mentioned, thank you. You mentioned now just now that this year is very special. I always say, whatever we facing, we have to consider it's very special.
Yes.
Because the pandemic is come with that the opportunity. So when not in this country, other part also the world also facing the difficulty. Everyone, every sector. So in terms of 2020 census, we already planned ahead as early as 2016. We secure the commitment from the government to allocate the budget. We do the planning. So when the pandemic COVID-19 suddenly happened, we have to continue our plan, because the time is already arrived. As I mentioned, that census is every 10 years. So for this time around, when the COVID-19 happened and we still facing it, so we embark on two phases of the census. So this opportunity for us to go on the technology. So with the technology, we actually without COVID-19 also, actually it's already in place the system where the people can submit the form through online. Through the electronic. But with the COVID-19 is the accelerated process that people really concerned about the health. So you have a choice.
This is the e-Census.
E-Census, yeah, that's why the first, they will call the one of the platform where people can avoid from being visited by the enumerator. So another channel is door to door. What we really push now, we really take on the last mile of the last effort to conclude the census. We have to get it done. So we now embark on the second choice is face to face. And when we talk about census, is really conventionally people see that census mean people are come to your home, visit your house. Yes. There are some people.
That's traditional perception.
Yeah, but there are people like it. They are looking forward. Where is the enumerator?
Yes.
People sometimes they like to talk to the enumerator.
Right.
And it's not in the country also, in other part of the world, and everyone know. And when you talk to the old people, when we said we ask enumerator, they quickly, oh, I know.
Yeah.
And
because I think they feel belong.
They belong, and when I go to together to the enumerator to several places, and when I ask in one the resident, I check with her, are you ready to be census? They say we have no choice, is it? That means they know they have no choice because they know the importance of the census. So this is why I really grateful to the people of the country in terms of the understanding the importance of the census. Everyone, the sense of belonging you mentioned is very important, and they know that. With the good data, the good statistic, they are benefited from that. So that's why I always said the data is for the better life, and the census is from people. We call it data from people. Ultimately, the people will be benefited through where? Through what? Through the I mentioned just now, through the good policy, distribution or the division of the source of the country. Because we know that every country they have the annual budget, so they know to have to know what to do with the budget. What is the priority? So
the breakdown of the population.
Yeah, population, which area that have to be focused on.
Yes.
How much to be created for job creation.
And the questionnaire this year has it increased?
Yeah, it's increasing. I consider is some people that is tremendous, but to me, I think I consider that required by the country, because when you conduct the census, you have to look at the circumstances and what year you doing the census. So compared to the previous one, I think this time around the number of questions increased almost double. It's about 108 questions. But in the first time we conducted the census in 1970, we got a lot more than 108 questions actually.
Right.
So that's why there are some correlation between 1970 and 2020, because in 1970 is the first year for the first time the country having the census. But why 2020 is also even important, because we look at that the 2020 is the cornerstone of the juncture of the country toward the developed nation,
Right.
So that's why we require a lot of question on the soft thing, on the your conduct, how you feel safe, how your relationship with your neighbor. So a lot of, in the question, a lot of the qualitative, how you feel safe. That means the question requests people to say about yourself in the context of the community, in the context of the nation. So how the nation can be better, and you are benefited from the good data that you provided.
Okay, thank you very much, Dato. So let's go on with the next question. Today is day 290 since the implementation of my census in July. Day 290. So what can you share with us, the latest updates on my census 2020?
So to share with the latest status, I have to look at my fact and figures. So as 21st of April, we glad to inform that we already completed 15.9 million Malaysian population have been censored. That is provided about 49% out of 32.7 million.
Right.
And that one in terms of the individual. So we in terms of the household, because some of the household may be comprised of few individual, and in this country I mentioned the estimation is 32.7 million is the individual, but in terms of household we estimated we have about 8.2 million household. So because one household maybe they have children,
Right.
so that's why from 8.2 the numbers the population is 32.7. So in terms of the households, we already completed 52.2%, 52.2%, and there are 4 states recorded response rate more than 60%. And the highest state Putrajaya about 85%, Kelantan 84%, Johor 71%, and Perlis 71%. And below the line, Sabah 30.1%, Labuan 36.3%, Sarawak 36.5%, and Kuala Lumpur 37%. The remaining state as follows: Perak 65.6%, Melaka 63.6%, Terengganu 63%, Pulau Pinang 58%, Negeri Sembilan 58%, Kedah 49%, Selangor 46%, and Pahang 43%. That one in terms of household. Now quickly have a look at the living quarters.
Yep.
So in terms of living quarter, I mean the houses. So as yesterday we already counted about 59.5% living quarters. And there were 6 states recorded a share completed more than 60%. The highest Putrajaya 99%, Kelantan 96.7%, Perak 8.7%, Perlis 77%, Johor 75.6%, Melaka 73.6%, and among the lowest is Kuala Lumpur 38.8%, Sabah 39.3%. The remaining state as follow: Terengganu 68.4%, Pulau Pinang 64%, Negeri Sembilan 63.2%, Kedah 59.3%, Selangor 49.9%, Pahang 49.3%, Labuan 48.2%, and Sarawak 44.1%. And finally, in terms of population, as mentioned just now, we already completed 48.7%, and there are 6 states recorded a share completed more than 60%. The highest Putrajaya actually already exceeded our estimation, already 101%.
Right.
Because we compared our estimation, so the actual number actually now Putrajaya is already exceeded our estimation about 100,000. It's not more than 100,000. That's why the completed rate is about 101%. Johor 69%, Kelantan 67%, Perlis 66%, Perak 63%, Melaka 61%, Sabah is among the lowest 24.3%, and the remainder Terengganu 57.6%, Negeri Sembilan 55%, Pulau Pinang 53.5%, Selangor 46%, Kedah 46%, Labuan 38.3%, Kuala Lumpur 38%, Pahang 37.8%, and Sarawak 35.4%.
Okay.
So I can summarize that based on the number I mentioned just now is not even, not say that every state have a same percentage, because it depends on the condition of the every state. So I mentioned now we go concurrently in the two mode, online and also door to door or face to face. So in certain places we can go in very high speed, because maybe on the condition on the ground is conducive enough for our enumerator to visit the houses, and the people, the community willing to accept it. Yeah. But there are some places because due to the COVID-19, there are red area we have to careful and we're not supposed to go. because we have the standard operating procedure that been approved by MKN and the authority. The census they are given the green light to go, but have to follow the SOP.
Correct.
So I mean, the state that not really in the very high risk and the people can accept it, they can maybe can go much faster. So I foresee that certain state can complete this census earlier than other state, maybe some state. But I don't want to mention which state, but I believe people will figure out. I mentioned just now, certain state like Kelantan, Johor, Perak is on the top of the rank, close to 65% and above.
Oh, because the numbers you mentioned just now, as a whole, the numbers are quite impressive.
Yeah.
So we've done quite a lot, and we have achieved with this My Census so far.
Yeah.
But still, we have still a lot more to do. So what can you tell us the efforts that the department is taking to increase awareness on the importance?
Before that, I will actually mention the breakdown about the 15.9% million that completed. Looking at the breakdown between the e-Census and also face-to-face, at the moment, out of 50.9%, they completed based on the online about 7 million. 7 million, that means the share over the 30.7 is about 22%, while the door-to-door or face-to-face about 8.9 million, that means 27%. So how this relate to the effort to increase the awareness? So I mentioned that two mode just now, the e-Census and face-to-face. So I would like to appeal to the public. Now the e-Census platform is still open to the public. Besides, we go very consider on the final push to complete to get it census done, because census has to be 100%.
Yes.
So we go on face to face. So what we do now, Fadila, so we visited every house that in the system is not been counted, because if you fill up the e-Census, it's already shown in the system. So the system, we have to go to the houses, because all the 9 million houses in this country is already listed in our system. So we can, like the story of the movie by Allahyarham Ramli lah. You can this door is right, this door is they can we know which house is already done the census or not. So I like to convey the message that we know everyone to listener, we know who have done, who not yet done. So what we do now, the enumerator go door to door, and they give immediately ask the people which one you want to do. You want being interviewed by the enumerator immediately, and you be to be done, or you want to do the e-Census. Okay, I give you the password. You have to done it maybe 3 days, 5 days. Or you want to fill up the hard copy. I give you the hard copy. Then the next few days we agree when then the president has to agree when to the enumerator to come back to collect. They mean to get it done, we have to very certain. Before we just keep it open, or the public can continue take the time to complete. But because now there is now already close to 1 year, I think we have to really look at the important to have the data be available very soon, because if we drag the census period continue on and on, so when you can get the data, because the data
we
is
have to end this year,
and the data is very important to make the policy. So we try to complete it as soon possible. Then our target now to be completed by June 30th, and we have the mopping in July if there are requirement. So actually for me, you ask us when the census to be closed. Actually, we don't know actually when we to close, because we want to complete. The completion date is 30th June. Whether we can close or not depend on the completion.
Right.
If they by 30 years is not 100%, that means you cannot close
Yeah.
because the census have to be 100%.
Okay. So you have to make sure, the department has to make sure that everyone is
Everyone,
counted.
no one left behind.
But given the large number of people across the country who will be surveyed, how do you make sure that this can happen?
So we have a lot of approaches. Of course, among the key thing is the census is about the people. So in our system, we have the leader at the lower level, the community leader. Of course, at the state level, we have the state government, local authority, district office. So we work closely with them. To assist us and to educate people and to publicize about the census. Of course, to mitigate the concern of the people about the COVID-19 pandemic, we make sure our enumerator follow the SOP. They have to be wearing the mask and keep the distance, and as much as possible we require them if possible don't enter the house, the home. To stay too long in one house. So maybe about depend on the number of the people in the house. If they only want to, very quick, about 30 minutes, 40 minutes. But if the numbers need to be filled up, is more than 4 or 5, maybe take about 1 hour. So I think the message I would like to convey is the census is 1 in 10 years. So you can just spend with the enumerator about 1 hour compared to 10. You want, they will come again only about 10 years from now.
It's like comet. Like a
Yeah.
comet.
Yeah.
So everyone will be counted and no one will be left behind.
Yeah,
is
exactly.
what you
Exactly.
were saying, yeah?
Yeah.
So there's also quality checking approach that the department is taking.
I would like to also stress here, whatever we do, the more important the data. We want to see the rubbish in, rubbish out. We want to have the data in a very high standard, very high quality. So of course there are some people may take it lightly about fill up the form. So I would like to give some very important message. If the planning, if the policy is not being carried out properly, maybe because the data provided by the people is not accurate. So on that note, what the effort being taken by the DOSM, we have the process where the quality checking. So in fact, if you already fill up the census through online, you also have to checking systematically. Not we doing every house, but we have to look at maybe how to make sure people really adhere to requirement that you have to provide the very true data, true statistic. So we have the process. So some maybe been visited by our enumerator, despite they already submit the form through online. And on top of that, we have the process what we call the data evaluation. We also conduct post-enumeration census survey. So after the census completed, we have to also do how many percent is under-reporting, for example. We have the statistic system to cater. That's why some people feel that when they thought that you done the census, but I not been visited. Maybe some people say that. So I worry about your census. Are you count me or not? Maybe you heard that in 2010. Actually, there are way that to look at if people are not been counted. There are some statistic process to be carried out. But better everyone declare before we complete the census. Everyone think that they not been done. You not been census. Let us know. Email to us, and you look around. There are some enumerator. Call them. Go to your home and facilitate. more important, especially during this Ramadan. So I would like to have that kind of gesture that people try to facilitate the work of the enumerator, on the very hot.
Help each other out.
Help each other out, and
kita jaga kita.
Kita jaga kita, and of course, they are. I mean, most of our enumerator or all the youngster.
They're right.
They are the future of our generation, And I also want to congrat to the enumerator, because they put a lot of effort to take the job, Of course, this maybe not their permanent job, but it's good experience for them.
Correct.
They can really look at the real life, the difficulty, the hardship of the people.
It's a good working
It's not about getting the perk, It's not that much. But we have to value their contribution. And that data is really not been used for one time, but again and again. They will repeat that's why I really motivate the enumerator that their contribution, their work is really tremendous. I mean, they have to do it very good,
very dedicated,
very dedicated, proportional, and you will remember forever. When talk about census, many people actually, we done the census in 1970s, 80s. Actually, many have experience being a enumerator. And there are some very success story, They have become somebody in any
very inspiring.
That's
very inspiring. We're going to come back after a short break, where we'll be talking about how the pandemic is shaping the census initiative. That will be right after the break. So don't go away. Stay with us and come back. We'll return after the break.
We have been with you in good times and trying times. Unforgettable moments. Challenging moments. Since 1845, we have been there for Malaysia. We have been there for you. The New Straits Times, always with you.
Sean tahu, mungkin ada rakan yang sebaya Sean tidak mengendahkan banci yang sedang dijalankan. Jika kita tidak mengisi banci ataupun mengisi borang tersebut secara sambil lewa, keperluan sebenar, kemudahan asas yang diperlukan di sesebuah kawasan itu tidak akan diketahui. Contohnya, hospital di sesebuah kawasan tertentu mungkin sudah tidak mampu menampung keperluan pesakit akibat jumlah penduduk yang semakin bertambah. Begitu juga dengan situasi pembinaan sekolah. Ibu bapa terpaksa menghantar anak ke sekolah yang jauh dari kediaman kerana kepadatan di sekolah. Inilah antara kesulitan yang akan dialami di masa hadapan akibat kegagalan mengisi borang banci dengan tepat. Melalui banci juga, kerajaan akan merancang dasar pembangunan negara, termasuklah berkaitan peluang pekerjaan. Oleh itu, jalankanlah tanggungjawab anda sebagai rakyat Malaysia yang prihatin. Demi masa depan, Sean pun sudah dibanci. Data anda, masa depan kita. Pastikan anda dan keluarga anda dibanci.
Tahukah anda semua, Malaysia sedang menjalani proses banci Banci ini melibatkan semua individu di kediaman masing-masing termasuk bukan warga negara yang menetap di sini. Walau bagaimanapun, ada beberapa golongan kategori yang tidak akan termasuk dalam kiraan banci seperti bayi yang lahir selepas hari banci, orang yang meninggal dunia sebelum hari banci, warga negara Malaysia atau penduduk tetap yang telah atau akan keluar negara bagi tempoh 6 bulan atau lebih dalam tahun 2020 untuk bekerja, belajar dan sebagainya. Warga asing seperti pelancong, ahli perniagaan dan seumpamanya yang berada di Malaysia bagi tempoh kurang dari 6 bulan dari tarikh banci. Jika anda tidak termasuk dalam kategori ini, anda akan dibanci. Stacey sendiri pun sudah dibanci. Jadi jangan lupa tanggungjawab anda sebagai rakyat Malaysia yang prihatin. Data anda, masa depan kita. Pastikan anda dan keluarga anda dibanci.
Hai, Assalamualaikum. Saya Mira Filza. Saya pilih banci dalam talian atau e-Census. Jom jayakan banci penduduk dan perumahan Malaysia. Pastikan anda dan keluarga anda dibanci kerana data anda masa depan kita. Sudahkah anda melaksanakan tanggungjawab anda? Saya sudah.
Hai semua, Assalamualaikum. Saya Tomo. Sudahkah anda bersedia untuk dibanci? Jangan lupa banci penduduk dan perumahan Malaysia. Data anda, masa depan kita. #Menghitung Malaysia.
Welcome back to NST Insight, and we are here with Yang Berbahagia Datuk Seri Muhammad Uzair, Chief Statistician Malaysia. And before we continue on, we would like to take questions from the viewers. We have two questions. Question number one comes from Wani Johari. She wants to find out if she needs to be at home when the officer from the Department of Statistics come over for face-to-face interviews, or she can just do the interviews by email and things like this, or phone.
On that, if they not have ample time to wait for the enumerator to interview, I mentioned earlier, we still open the e-Census. They still can do online. So do online, they maybe ask the invitation code, so you can fill up. And the good thing about the online, because you actually don't have to complete it in one go. You know, when you think that you cannot, you have other thing to do because we may take more than 30 minutes. You just save it. Then you can come back later, but don't take too long. The issue now, some people is already started, but they haven't sent yet. That the issue.
They set too long.
Then after that, they forgot about it.
Okay.
But I would like to appeal the public. Already started the fill in. They got the invitation code. Let's complete it and send to it. And when you already doing through the online, actually about the plus that you can save it. But you have the soft copy.
Right. Okay.
But if you have to face to face, you embark on the face to face, you don't have the copy, you know. Okay. So it is the advantage of the doing online. So my answer, you don't have to be there. You do the online. But you want to do through the face to face, of course you have to be there. Yep. But if you want face to face, but don't get the time during the first visit by the enumerator, you can schedule. You will have to you can make appointment to be the enumerator. Okay. Maybe they also do the job during the weekend. Okay. And whatever time that agree by the resident.
Right. Okay. So Wani, we hope that answers your question. So the next question comes from Fatimah Sheikh. She wrote that she received the postcard for e-Census at her old home address in Kota Baru, but she now lives at a new address in Kerteh, Terengganu. What can she do? Okay,
the more important about this banci, the census is you have to count only one. You're not supposed to report twice, you know. So if you earlier address in Kota Baru, you not yet submitted the e-Census. So what you can 1 year what you
Fatimah.
Miss Fatimah, you can do, you can submit your e-Census on your current address at Kerteh. So maybe the Terengganu will be covered later, right? Because our enumerator we visited during the door to door. Maybe the other people maybe occupy that house, the house.
Okay, Fatima, we hope that answers your question. So let's move on with
Okay.
our next question. We're talking about the COVID-19 pandemic. The current situation is very unprecedented, especially right now with the ongoing census that we are taking part in. What's the best way for the people to participate in the census, but at the same time help to control spread the virus?
I think the answer is already been explained earlier. We have two choice now, whether you want to take it the census through face to face or you want to do online.
Yes.
So we really have the facilities, we have the connectivity and we have the equipment to fill up the form through e-Census. We really encourage people to submit their census question through online. So the online is the way that can keep the distance. But of course we can't wait. We have to also go to door to door, especially in area that is still accessible. To make sure that this census not to be prolonged too long. They want to continue and never end. So, but I really hope that people understand that we need to complete the census as soon as possible.
Yes, just be mindful of the standard operating procedure
Yes,
as implemented by the government through the National
of course,
Security Council.
Now it's very unprecedented. During the previous census, we don't have to use masks. So this year is really super special. And of course, I mentioned, it's come also with this challenges is the opportunity for us to strengthen the way we collect the information using the technology. And when there are challenges, actually they are also come with that the opportunity how to overcome. You have to be very creative, engaged, and so forth. And I really say that our enumerator, they are become very confident person. They develop the skill of persuasion, convincing. That's why in terms of the succeeded interview for them after they when they're looking for other job, normally the enumerator in terms of the success in the interview, I got the information.
They have the people skill.
The people skill,
Yes,
and they're very confident,
Okay.
and they can give the very convincing.
Now, the data you mentioned just now, the information, there are specific particulars that the data will look into.
I
think information and distance, social relations. Can you talk more about that?
If we look at the certain data that require, for example, on the
population database,
on the let me see example. I give the example on the identification. Actually, we need this identification because we want to develop what we call the population profile. So this population profile we continue be updated by other means using the administration record. So that's why this time around we need the identification. And of course, with the profile of the people, a lot of decision, a lot of the policy can be done very targeted. So we know exactly who they are. So without the identification, we don't know. We maybe know about age, about the gender, but we don't really know who they are.
Right.
So that's why we need the identification. Of course, we need about why we need the age, your date of birth, because we want to plan. For example, we can know from this census how many people we will expected to go to school at the age of 6 years.
Right.
So based on these numbers, we know in the locality, in the district, how many people at the age 3 years, 4 years, how much the kindergarten to be open, And also for the older people, for welfare department to taking care on the disability. So this kind of very important. I would like to stress also, we need to have very good data on disability. So for us to do the good policy for them. So I would like to also stress here, if they think that in the stay in the home that there are some people in the children don't have an issue on the disability, they can declare it in the census form.
So these are the particular information.
Yes.
You call it social relations, living
Yeah,
quarters.
yeah,
right?
living quarters. For example, we ask how you embrace on the 3R, reduce, reuse, recycle. So we want to embark on the program, whether in this district, in this kampung, in this area, whether they are embrace the recycle or the awareness. Because if the rate of the 3R is very low in the certain area, then we need to enhance the awareness importance of 3R. And also on the social relation. So we want to strengthen about the neighborhood spirit, you know. So this question we ask how often you talk to your neighbor, and the data show, you know, Fadilah, based on the early indication, at the age of the younger generation, most of them answer that they're not talking to neighbor, you know, very little. But if you look at the old generation, when they answer it, we got some indication that they more frequently talk to the neighbor. You know?
So the data can be quite personal, which leads us to the next question. People are wondering whether their data, the personal information, will be shared. Because this is really gold mine here, so I think we need to address this concern.
In the census form, actually in the second page, we have stated that in terms of the issue on the confidentiality. I have to read here. Under the Census Act 1960, Section 90, subsection 1 and 2. It said that individual statements shall not be disclosed. And under the section 15, it stated data field in the questionnaire is confidential and cannot be disclosed to any other party.
Okay.
So in terms of the confidentiality is really a pillar of the data collection, especially for the census.
Correct.
And it's not to be used for any other purpose, but only for statistic purposes.
Right. So we can be rest assured, all of us Malaysians, that the data safe and confidential.
Yes.
Only limited officers can have access to the database, and it's actually for the government to make informed decisions to how to make our lives better. So the next question is issues and challenges. Can you please share with us what the issues and challenges carrying out this initiative during the pandemic?
Among the issue and challenges and the circumstances facing census during the time around, of course, everyone know about the issue on the COVID-19. Then I already explained. A part of that, we know that now our urbanization rate, because the people in the rural area is about plus minus about 20% only. Now most of the people living in the urban area, and the way the conduct of the people in urban compared to the rural very much different. I remember when I joined the Department of Statistics, when we conduct the census in 1991, very much easier because people in the rural area is more easier. They can make more time to the enumerator, you know. People eagerly waiting for the enumerator. From my past experience, memang people in the rural area, they are sometimes they provide some food, fruit. It's very happening, you know, when we conduct the census in the rural area. But now I mentioned about 77% is people living in the urban area. And among the challenges, people stay or reside in the condominium. guarded houses.
And I believe you have the figure for
Yeah,
that.
we have about now in this country. Our estimation we have about in Malaysia about 2 million.
Wow.
2 million condominium and apartment. If we can give the breakdown, Selangor we count about 356,000 condominium and apartment in Selangor, and in Kuala Lumpur we have 460,839 condominium in Kuala Lumpur. And we estimated that condominium and apartment, the houses, in terms of people, we have estimate about 5.8 million people live in the condominium and also the apartment. So among the issue, the challenges facing by the enumerator or during facing by the census officer is to access to this condominium building. So we need to get the appointment with them, because normally they have very hectic schedule. It's not they want to give the question, but the timing, So we need to engage with the management people, the management of the building, the condominium, and so far I went around a few days back to a certain area in KL, and including I mentioned the census is also including the foreigners, who stay here. I go in one place in the KL, live by many expatriates. So they give the cooperation. Very good, very good. I see that they know when we say we do the census. Wow, they know very well about the census. The thing is how to get the message to them. We are coming. So when they know that we are coming, they spare their time.
Right.
So that's the other difficulty, of course, in certain area. In where difficulty to reach people
logistics
in the especially in Sabah and Sarawak. You have to take various modes of the transportation, and that also among the difficulty. But we glad that the emulator is really very good, because they are local people, so they know their job and they know the surrounding area.
Way around,
Because normally we appoint the enumerator from the surrounding area, the local people. They know the community, and that's the great thing about the census. We not appoint the enumerator from outside the district, outside the locality. Normally from the local people. Then they will make it the census more easy to operate.
It's like very personalized.
Yeah, very personalized. Sometimes they are also counting their own family, their auntie, makcik, pakcik. So sometimes that's why some of the enumerator they can go at night time, because like they are visited their relative, apart or doing the they are responsible to complete the count for because every enumerator they have to complete about 10 to 12 houses per day.
Wow.
So we can count on every about 300 plus houses a month.
That's fun.
Maybe some of the houses or some of the people they are relative.
Correct.
They are friend,
Or so the old friend.
Old friend. So that's why they can make appointment. They call, I want to do your census for your home. Are you ready? That's why some maybe can get a very good connection.
And we cannot stress enough how important the data is for the government to make decisions. Maybe, Dato' Sri, you can stress again or highlight again the importance of accessing to data and statistics for the country.
Okay, I mentioned for the country to take to the new level, to the new height, we need a very good planning. So to have the very good planning, we need to have very good input. Input is the data, the information, and the information required by the country is really a lot in various dimensions. The basic information required by the country is about the population, about the demography, the profile of the people. And with this data, the country can plan, the policy maker can plan very well. If there are some weaknesses, we can detect For example, if we see certain area lack of facilities, there are issue a lot of the job opportunity. Then the allocation of the money have to be emphasized in that particular area.
Like if we need bigger clinics.
Exactly. The ratio between the people with the bed, the patient with the bed, the ratio with the doctor,
or the school,
the children, and also not only to expand the school. Some school maybe no need to be expanded because the number of the dwindle, because maybe the number of the birth rate is lower. So we need to look plan, because we don't want to build school after school, but no student. It's happened in Japan and other country as well. So this is something that we need to have the good data, so we don't waste the resources.
Correct.
Because every part of the world, the resources is always a scarcity. We need to plan. When you plan properly, then that means you be succeeded. So everyone, you ask everyone, no one say you don't want to be succeeded. You want to be success. You want to have a life that this year better than last year, next year better than this year. I don't have the experience. People say I want to have the life next year lower than this year. So you need to really be efficient. And in this competitive world, a lot of countries embark on the policy that really consider that the data as the pillar to be success. So that's why the mantra now, the data is you have the data, you have the power. And the data is the new oil. It's a very valuable thing. And a lot of people that businesses also, if they have the information, they know how to handle their customer. If, for example, they know how many complaints, so they can rectify what the issues, then they can do better. That means the same thing about the census. If there are issues on the ground induced by the data collection through the census, so we can improve it. And if there are some best practice, there are some example, maybe we can get some information which district, which kampung that have very good in terms of the social relationship and secure. So we can study why this area is very good. Can we use this as benchmark? And this can be cascade to the other places. So a lot of things to be induced from the census undertaking.
It's interesting that you mentioned data is power, because so far we have actually got some information about the profile of the population based on the number of people who have taken part in census. Can you please share with us?
Okay, thank you. I would like to share today, because maybe we have to conclude the discussion, to share some of the profile. From the, I mentioned earlier, at this juncture, we have about 15.9 million already been counted. In terms of the percentage, if you look at the age, we have about 3.5 million already in the system at the age of 0 to 14. We estimate we have 7.7 million people in the age of 0 to 14, so we only have 3.5, about 46%. For 15 to 64%, we already have about 10.4 million, and for 65 years old and above, estimation about 2.3 million. As today, we have already about 1 million. So in terms of the ethnicity, we estimated Bumiputra, we have about 90 million Bumiputra. So at the moment, we already have about 11 million already been counted. In terms of Chinese community, we estimated about 6.7 million. As today, we already counted about 3.5 million, about 52%. For Indian community, estimated about 2 million. We already counted about 101 million, about 47%. And others ethnic, we estimate about 300,000. We only count about 100,000. And for the non-citizen, as today we already counted about 500,000 non-citizen reside in this country. Our estimation about 3 million. So we just about 60%. That little bit about the profile of the 50.9 million population that been counted. And in terms of the district, just consider as a very high in terms of the census rate. For example, Kecil Lodging Kelantan, we already have 115%. Mersing is already 100%. Tumpat 93%. Jeli 92%. Gua Musang 90%. Kulai 94%. Mesin 92%. Muar 91%. Setiu 83%. And that the some of the profile of the we look at the district level. It show that some district is almost done.
Yes.
So there are some other district still lower. Maybe we not monitor is closely at the district level, at the Mukim level. Yeah.
It's quite an achievement. Finally, for my last question, can you please share with us any updates on census other parts of the world?
Okay, I look at the discussion early this year. We have the United Nations Statistics Commission meeting yearly, I mean in March. So we also discuss on the progress of the census throughout the year. So originally there are about 100 countries, more than 100 countries. We plan to conduct the census 2020, but end up actually about less than 20 countries doing the census 2020. But Malaysia is among the countries that continue proceed with what we plan. So we also been seen as the benchmark for other countries. So that's why we are been invited to share our experience, how we operationalize the banci during this COVID-19, and there are some countries that are very interested to learn on our effort to have the profile of the people as the outcome of the census 2020. So I think I can mention here Malaysia is really ready to become a benchmark for the year for the census 20. There are some other countries they becoming census becoming really halfway through, like half baked cake, They're off and on, and they sometimes they have to scale down because of limited response. So we really grateful. Beside the challenges, we still continue, we still proceed. Then I really can say that we congratulations to all Malaysian supporting the government project. I mean, if the banci is success because the contribution of the people, because the people give the information. If the banci is failure, because the people don't want to give the information. And I believe that we be succeeded. Inshallah. So we almost I mean about 2 months plus to end this census. So let continue give the cooperation. And of course, from time to time, we continue to make sure that the health is the priority. So we obliged to consider to control play our role. Our enumerator, I always convey the message: please take care, follow the SOP. But people, our enumerator, they have very strong determination. I want to mention also to the audience, some of enumerator, when they visited some houses and some people, they look at the people that very poor, they're using their own pocket money, to assist them. That's why I can mention that our enumerator, the youngster, they has very good value, and they can really have the very lively experience. Then how grateful they are when they look. Really, there are some people are really unfortunate. There are some of the what you call the byproduct of the census. I mean, in terms of their humanity, and of course, in terms of the cooperation I mentioned just now by ethnicity. I really grateful everyone come forward. I mean, they know this the national effort. Everyone need a good data. we want to together progress in the future.
Inshallah, we can do it together. Thank you very much, Dato. Before we end today's forum, let's look back at some of the main takeaway points. As of 21st April, as of yesterday, 16 million population have been counted. The remaining 16.8 Malaysians are set to be counted during the e-Census 2020 this year, both through e-Census and door-to-door format. From May 24th until June 8th this year, Census 2020 will be aggressively conducted face-to-face or door-to-door under strict SOP that are in place under the Movement Control Order. And finally, Malaysians, please remember that data shared are very safe and very confidential. So if you have any questions, information or issues, please contact your nearest Department of Statistics Malaysia State Office. The numbers and details are on the crawler on the screen here. And Dato', before we end, do you want to add some last words?
Thank you very much to the listener and to all Malaysian. I believe that this country, I think everyone know important of this census. Let's continue contribute in any way we can. And very simple, just give the cooperation, give the information, and the data is really will determine our future. So the data we need now to have the better life in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dato'. Okay, with that, I would like to thank Dato' Sri Muhammad Uzair, Chief Statistician Malaysia. So please make yourself counted as part of the National Census 2020. Stay safe and look after yourself, your family and community. I am Faridul Anwar Farinordin from New Straits Times, NST Insight. Thank you for watching. Assalamualaikum and have a good day.
Bertugas sebagai pembanci selama 20 tahun. Cabaran utama sebagai pembanci adalah untuk sampai ke lokasi yang akan dibanci. Kadang-kala kami perlu menaiki bot, meredah sungai dan juga mendaki gunung untuk membanci mereka yang tinggal di kampung atau jauh di pendalaman. Kalau di bandar, cabarannya lain pula, seperti kesesakan lalu lintas, terpaksa menaiki tangga jika tiada lift ataupun lift rosak. Jika nasib tak baik, ada di antara kami yang dikejar anjing. Cabarannya tidak terhenti di situ. Selain turun padang untuk membanci, kami juga ditugaskan untuk meyakinkan masyarakat akan kepentingan banci pada negara kita. Panas dan hujan tu sudah jadi makanan kami. Jadi, jangan lupa tanggungjawab anda sebagai rakyat Malaysia yang prihatin. Data anda masa depan kita. Pastikan anda dan keluarga anda dibanci.
Sebelum anda mengisi banci 2020, mari kita lihat bagaimana caranya untuk mengisi borang banci. Secara keseluruhan, kategori maklumat yang perlu diisi adalah maklumat asas seperti nama, jantina dan umur, alamat lengkap, butir-butir tempat kediaman seperti jenis tempat kediaman, bilangan bilik serta kemudahan bekalan air dan elektrik. Butiran setiap individu yang mendiami kediaman tersebut seperti tahap pendidikan, jumlah pendapatan, jenis kenderaan yang dimiliki dan sebagainya. Tahap kesihatan dan kecergasan seperti kekerapan bersenam dan sejarah sebarang penyakit. Hubungan sosial seperti penggunaan media sosial serta butiran warga emas. Jangan risau, kerana tiada soalan yang akan berkaitan dengan butiran perbankan anda. Data anda, masa depan kita. Pastikan anda dan keluarga anda dibanci.
Melangkah dan terus maju, tak takut bukan pengecut, bergerak pantas semakin takkan semua. Hayalkan langkah, jangan berserah, jangan mengalah kita. Laungkan suara hingga ke mercu angkasa.
Banci aspirasi negara, penggerak sosioekonomi. Banci tanggungjawab bersama, data anda masa depan kita. Di bandar dan desa, walau di mana saja tidak mengira bangsa. Tanggungjawab kita bekerja sama untuk tingkatkan taraf hidup. Banci semua penduduk, juga perumahan maklumat jadi matlamat. Menghitung Malaysia kita, tiada ketinggalan, marilah semua. Banci aspirasi negara, penggerak sosioekonomi. Banci tanggungjawab bersama, data anda masa depan kita. Banci semua penduduk, juga perumahan demi kesejahteraan negara. Banci banyak gunanya, merancang pembangunan, marilah semua. Banci aspirasi negara, penggerak sosioekonomi. Banci tanggungjawab bersama, data anda masa depan kita. Banci aspirasi negara, merancang pembangunan ekonomi. Terima kasih kerjasama anda, ke puncak dunia masa depan kita.
Melangkah dan terus maju, tak takut bukan pengecut, bergerak pantas semakin takkan semua. Hayalkan langkah, jangan berserah, jangan mengalah kita. Laungkan suara hingga ke mercu angkasa.
Banci aspirasi negara, terima kasih. Menghitung Malaysia kita, makmur aspirasi negara. Marilah kita jayakan, banci tanggungjawab bersama. Menghitung Malaysia kita, menuju masa depan sejahtera. Banci aspirasi negara.